Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to untangle something a lot of us deal with every single day. We are looking at the highly researched academic theory behind children's screen time and comparing it to the often bizarre algorithm-driven reality of modern kids' content. If you have ever handed a tablet to a toddler, this is something you absolutely need to understand.
You might assume a singing cartoon train on YouTube is just a harmless distraction, right? Well, bizarre, highly specific quotes like this one, yes, from an actual children's video featuring a military bomber, are causing widespread alarm among modern parents. So how on earth did we get from educational alphabet songs to this?
To answer that, let's jump into part 1, the expectation and the true power of animation.
Before we look at what kids are actually watching on their devices, we really need to understand the science of why screens are used as educational tools in the first place. Academic research, like the findings published in the Buhas Al-Athfal Journal of Education in Early Childhood, confirms that interactive animation, when it's integrated thoughtfully, is a phenomenally powerful tool for early childhood development. Experts view animation not just as a visual aid, but as a crucial component for modern learning. When a child sees dynamic characters moving, it's not just entertainment, it's a way to visualize complex concepts that they might really struggle to grasp otherwise.
And the sheer volume of data backing this up is literally massive. Researchers systematically analyzed over 1,000 studies to map out exactly how this works. Their conclusion? Dynamic visual tools actively capture a child's attention and successfully bridge digital learning with real-life experiences. It basically proves that our expectation of digital media is built on a very solid, highly researched foundation.
So the crucial takeaway here is that the academic expectation is overwhelmingly positive. Bright, moving characters are supposed to stimulate a toddler's cognitive, language, and social development far better than conventional, static methods. According to the data, thoughtful animation actually enhances working memory, it boosts early literacy through visual association, and it fosters a really high level of cognitive engagement. The ultimate goal is active participation, not just having kids staring passively at a screen like zombies.
But that brings us to part 2, the reality. And we need to meet Bob the Train.
Because the reality of what millions of toddlers are actually consuming looks a lot less like a carefully curated academic curriculum and a lot more like this guy. If you're a parent, you have probably heard this character's voice. Produced by USP Studios over in India and launched back in 2016, Bob acts as a digital guide designed to teach toddlers foundational concepts. Now, on paper, it sounds perfectly aligned with the academic theories we just talked about. He teaches numbers, letters, colors, and transport vehicles through different songs and adventures.
But here is where the sheer scale of the algorithm takes over. Driven by the relentless demand of YouTube, this single channel has churned out over 1,000 episodes. It is a massive library of content, and toddlers find it highly addictive. When production moves at this lightning-fast algorithmic pace, the curation and the quality control begin to look very, very different from traditional television.
Which leads us perfectly into part 3, the parental backlash.
Parents on forums like Reddit have started actively reviewing these videos, and they are noticing that beneath the bright colors and the cheerful music, there is some truly uncanny and troubling content hiding in plain sight. They're impartially reporting highly questionable lyrics sprinkled throughout the shows. For example, viewers pointed out an episode featuring an elephant who doesn't wear pants, and then there's this oddly specific body-shaming line about a hippopotamus not being able to wear a bikini because her size is +++. For a show aimed at toddlers, parents are finding these lyrical choices incredibly off-putting.
And that brilliantly illustrates the wider issue viewers are flagging. People have highlighted a whole slew of inappropriate themes across various episodes. There's that military-themed episode we mentioned with tanks and a bomber declaring, "My enemies fear me." There's a song about best friends that actually depicts highly toxic behavior where a boy steals a girl's food and gets her in trouble. One parent even reported a highly concerning repetitive chant where a character states, "Black hair and blue eyes are the prettiest." Combine all of that with generally uncanny animations like the planet Uranus farting during a space song, and you have a recipe for total parental panic.
Because of these problematic elements, parents are sharing widespread warnings online. It's becoming totally clear that, due to the rapid, algorithm-driven production of these videos, parents are encountering content that just feels creepy, unpredictable, and frankly inappropriate for toddlers. This backlash is actually leading to a massive shift in how modern families approach early digital media.
So what's the alternative? Let's look at part 4, the low stimulation solution.
All this algorithmic weirdness and the behavioral meltdowns associated with those flashy cartoons has sparked a massive course correction among parents. Just look at the trend here. Searches for low-stimulation shows for toddlers have jumped 5-fold worldwide since early 2023. Parents are now actively seeking out slower-paced, heavily curated media to prevent the sensory overload and the tantrums that often follow high-stimulation, fast-paced algorithmic content.
And what's truly fascinating is how experts actually define low stimulation. It's not just a buzzword, there's real science to it. When you break it down, high-stimulation shows rely on rapid cuts, flashy colors, unpredictable stories, and really loud narration. True low-stimulation content, on the other hand, keeps scene changes to more than 4 seconds. It uses muted colors, predictable story arcs to calm the nervous system, and warm, clear narration. This pacing specifically gives a toddler's working memory the time it actually needs to process language and concepts.
Because of this massive demand, platforms like Kidsby TV are stepping in to curate gentle, ad-free shows. We're talking about series like Maya Go or Berry Buds. These alternatives successfully foster social-emotional learning and language development, which actually delivers on the academic promise of animation we talked about earlier, but without any of the uncanny surprises or hyper-stimulating visuals found on open platforms.
But even with the best content, how you watch matters just as much. To achieve those incredible cognitive benefits of animation, experts recommend a few specific steps. First, co-view and comment on the action to help link words to what's on the screen. Second, stick to short, 15-minute scheduled blocks rather than hour-long binges to protect their attention spans. Third, try to pair passive viewing with active play, like bringing out some toy animals after a show about a farm. And finally, rotate the shows to prevent them from just becoming background noise.
Ultimately, this stark contrast between the incredible educational potential of animation and the completely bizarre reality of algorithm-driven content leaves us with one crucial question to consider the next time we hand over a tablet. Who is really curating your child's digital diet, you or the algorithm? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this gives you a powerful new lens on the media your family consumes.